Okay.
Okay. How well prepared do you feel to teach ELLs?
Honestly, I don't feel very prepared because each case that you get, each student that you get is different. And so, what worked with one student may not work with another student. So it's just kind of trial and error almost.
Yeah.
To see.
Okay. Here, I'll start ones. Did you complete a traditional program or alternative certification?
Well, our district, LISD, offers an ESL program, and so I did that through the district, but I still had to go and take a class through the district, and then afterwards I had to go and take the test.
Okay.
So.
What can the school or district do to help you meet the needs of ELLs?
I feel like the district could support the teachers more, getting them the resources that they need more, helping the teacher whenever they do get a new student to make sure that they have the resources for that student, and so it's not, I guess, taking some of the trial and error out of it. I know that there still will be trial and error, but just making sure that the teacher is set up and well prepared for that student, and so that the student isn't there struggling and frustrated just as much as the teacher is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In your opinion, what are the characteristics of effective ELL programs?
I feel like the program through LISD was a really good one. It was a 2-day program. Obviously, you're not going to learn everything in 2 days,
mm-hmm.
but I feel like once you take the initial course, I feel like you need to have refreshers or something, some sort of continual education, because I'm about to get a new ESL student, and
mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, okay, well, what do they need? What do I need to do for them? Mm-hmm. So I think just continual refreshers or emails or mm-hmm. something to kind of refresh the teacher.
Yeah. Okay. How many languages are represented in your classroom?
This year, I don't have any. That I know of. All of my students speak English in here. I think there are some that speak Spanish at home, but it's mostly English mm-hmm. at home. I am getting a new one pretty soon that will be Spanish speaking. In the past, I have had 2 from Africa. They spoke Swahili. I had them at the same time. One could speak English really, really well, and then the other one could not. And so they kind of help each other and help. And now one of them is still here, the one that had a hard time at the beginning speaking English, mm-hmm. and you wouldn't even tell. She's doing great.
That's good. Sorry. In what ways are you providing effective instruction for ELLs?
Well, our classroom is a little bit different. It's a co-teach classroom, and so there are 6 special ed slots and then 12 general ed slots. So our whole class right now is broken down into different ways for what each student needs. And so it's kind of really, I feel like it does provide good ELL support mm-hmm. in some ways, but in some ways I don't. Our classroom does move pretty quick, pretty fast, but at the same time, it's broken down to where they need it, and then those that can go further are able to go further and do what they are able to do. So it's just kind of differentiated for what each student needs.
That's good.
How do you communicate with parents who do not speak English?
We have several teachers, TAs here in the building, just different staff members that can speak Spanish. Most of ours are Spanish speaking, mm-hmm. so really we get them to, like if it's on the phone, we get them to talk to them on the phone and things like that. We don't change notes that go home into Spanish. I don't even know how to do that.
So like when you had that, like the kids who spoke Swahili, like How on earth
I
did y'all do that?
That
would be
one
hard.
of them, the one that could speak English really well, had older siblings, and they all lived together.
Oh, okay.
And so we would tell the older siblings or send the notes home and say, okay, they have this note. Make sure that you let your parents know about it, things like that. I mean, whenever we first got them, we had the older sibling. They weren't even at Irvin. They were older than that.
Okay.
They came in and helped translate and things. The little girl that spoke English really well was able to understand, and then she could translate to her parents. I don't know how much she did that at home, but at least in the classroom for my other friend that I had, she did a great job.
That's nice. Okay, and then so next fall we're gonna kind of be in our own classrooms like all year. So do you have any recommendations like to help prepare for us if we have ELL students?
I would just kind of see where they are at, and then just kind of go off of what they're doing. If the district that you're in offers any kind of training, I would do it. I mean, even myself, there are times that I'm like, okay, I need to brush up on this so that I know a little bit better.
Yeah.
Just any resources that you have, I would go with that.
Okay.
And just kind of go off of what the student does.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.